still remember sitting on my bed. It was maybe 1:30 a.m., and I had procrastinated on my physics homework. I just finished it, and I was in the middle of my nightly, midnight Instagram doom scroll. I came across a self-help post, and I had this thought, but I immediately realized that the thought I had wasn't mine. I heard it somewhere else. And I started catching this pattern in myself repeatedly. My thoughts were turning into not my thoughts anymore. And if my thoughts weren't mine, then how can I count on myself to create an innovative future? You are the greatest innovation that you will ever work on. But innovation requires originality. It's kind of uncomfortable to admit this, but I feel like this past year, I have lost a lot of my originality. This past year, I was accepted into a prestigious boarding school, the North Carolina School of Science and Math, or NCSSM. And you know how they say life is often lived or often measured in moments and not time? I have lived more moments in the past 7 months at NCSSM than I have perhaps lived in the past few years. And the parties, the complaints about the dining halls, and the physics department trauma bonding us all, as grateful as I am for NCSSM, I can't help but admit that I have lost myself after attending that school. And the reason for that is that I am always surrounded by some stimulant. And hey, I mean, it makes sense. If you send your 16, 17-year-old out of the house early, I promise they are going to try and make it worth it. But every thought I had would just be a repackaged opinion of someone else's. It could be the media I consumed, like my third Instagram doom scroll of the day. It could be my friend's opinion at lunch about Bad Bunny appearing at the halftime show. Sometimes it got so bad that I could physically catch myself realizing where a specific thought came from and who it came from. That's how unoriginal I started feeling. And hey, I am all about being a mosaic of everyone you meet. Don't worry, I captioned my last Instagram post, #YourSpeakingBestie is a mosaic of everyone she meets. But that mosaic still has to be yours. You know, in 5th grade, we all made those presentations about what's the difference between an innovation and an invention, right? An invention is an original idea, a new concept, and an innovation is how you implement that idea or how you make changes to it. You are an innovation. You undergo people, you undergo experiences, but at your core, you have to have an invention. You have to have a base, and that base has to be your original thoughts, opinions, and experiences. But how do you get original opinions and thoughts? Because, I mean, we've all heard of the saying, right? Like, just be yourself. But, like, genuinely, what does that even mean? And how do you implement that, right? Boredom. You have to learn how to be bored. Neurologically speaking, boredom has 3 big benefits, right? Number 1, when you're bored, your brain naturally switches into something called default mode network. This is where we start performing self-reflection. This is where we're more emotionally aware of the things that are going on around us. This is where you have original thoughts. Number 2, when you're bored, your brain resets your dopamine levels. Now, I think we've all heard the word dopamine. It's definitely a big buzzword in our age. But just a simple definition, it's just a feel-good chemical that makes you feel rewarded, makes you feel motivated and focused. We are always surrounded by artificial stimulants, like Instagram, TikTok, social media. But when you let yourself be bored, you give your brain the breathing space it needs to reset from that artificial dopamine. Resetting your dopamine levels make you crave less dopamine. It's kind of paradoxical almost. This means you start feeling happier at the smaller things. I remember that when I started letting myself feel bored, I started enjoying life more. I started appreciating the smaller things, like human connection, a small chat while I'm trying to grab coffee, or sunlight. And my brain didn't need to scroll 2 hours on Instagram to get that dopamine to make me feel happy. And then number 3, boredom will make you creative. We had amazing speakers speak about how creativity, especially in our generation, is dying down, right? How do you get that back? When I stopped letting myself be bored, I genuinely did not have an original thought, especially the more that I let myself not be bored, not rest, and not be present. I couldn't think of class discussion ideas. I couldn't have conversations beyond the, oh, how are yous, and oh, how was your day? And my humor started becoming really bland too. Like, like the TikTok, Instagram humor, you know what I'm talking about? That. And as you start letting yourself be bored, you allow creativity to take place. You know when you have a hard task that you're working on? It could be a creative task, right? And you can't think of anything, but 5 minutes, you just let yourself just be, and then suddenly you get this genius idea. That genius idea is yours, and it's specifically from your boredom. A great person once said, sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is let your mind wander. I implore you, put away the distractions. Force yourself to be more present. Be bored. And one day, you'll look back and hopefully realize that your boredom made you one of the greatest innovations you ever worked on. Thank you.